What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? Noticing cameras. A friend of mine does that. He can point out any camera in public spaces. I developed a similar skill while playing Ingress. Portals are everywhere. Fabricating stories. Walking quietly. Remembering someone else's schedule. I used to be an executive assistant to many people with specific wants and needs. I got really good at remembering what people liked based not only on what they would tell me but also the things they would do and how they'd react. I eventually became the guy that takes care of things before they become a problem. Sometimes it can be a superpower. But other times people get weirded out by it. Man. You could play Stardew Valley without 22 villager wiki tabs open. Felt this on a spiritual level. There was a restaurant in a Hyatt hotel that had a casino. The waiter from that restaurant remembered our preference when we showed up with a friend 6 months later. You guys were either amazingly awesome restaurant patrons, or a frickin' nightmare. I'm a former waitress / bartender turned RN. The same happens with patients. I compare seeing patients in medicine to being a waiter all the time. The two are so similar it's uncanny. Remembering things about people. I've lied about not knowing things to not seem like a creep. Dude, I do this all the time. I don't wanna seem like a creep either, I just have a good memory. I have a horrible memory but will remember really random things people tell me for years. Counting bills quickly. Learned when in Uzbekistan. A place where the highest denomination was 1,000 but a meal at a restaurant cost 20-30k. I bartended in NYC where closing time was after 4 a.m. So the quicker I counted out my register, the quicker I could go home. I can count a stack of bills quick. Walking with minimal sound. I creep up on people all the time. I don't mean to, but I make almost no sound when I walk. I have a friend who could memorize numbers, ESP plates of vehicles. He'd then be able to recall it after months in totally random conversations. Undefined. So when I was young and bored on car trips, my mom would always try to get me to play the license plate game. TPE, tape. Terpene. Terpsichore. Timpani. Mom. Earned timpani is with an I not an E. You mistype. Tamponade. Turns out the reason Mom was so obscenely good at the game that she could referee it instantly and near perfectly is that apparently she is playing it basically at all times just without saying anything about it. If something goes down, there is a near 100% chance Mom will know the license plate of the car in question. She has proven this way too many times. Getting kids to trust me within seconds of meeting me. Head nurse. That seems like a useful skill to have. But there's no way I'm going to have how to get kids to trust me within seconds of meeting me in my Google search history. Strep throat tests. Used to get strep a lot as a kid, so by the time I was tested for it as a 20-year-old I had the process down. They stick in the big popsicle stick to hold down your tongue and then they swab the back of your throat while you try not to gag. Well, I happened to be tested by a relatively new, young, attractive doctor this particular time, and when he complimented me on doing well on the test and not gagging, my response was, "Thanks. I've had practice." If not suspicious, it was at the very least mortifying after realizing the implication of what I said. Haha, as a nurse who has performed these, any adult that could do a throat swab with zero gag, cough, or flinch always made me wonder. Being able to recognize pills. No, I'm not a drug dealer. I just work in a pharmacy and some of them are very recognizable. Pharmacists are just licensed drug dealers. I will remember your car and every detail about it before I can remember your name. Knowing a friend's schedule. Especially for close friends. I've remembered their schedules just from them randomly bringing up what classes they have in conversations. Avoiding people. Everyone assumes I'm up to something because I spend so much time alone and out of sight. When you instinctively go to private search on your phone. Staying calm. I didn't think of this answer. But it's a really good one. I've heard the phrase "how are you so calm about this?" on more than a few occasions. The trick is being so overwhelmingly numb and devoid of emotion that you just aren't invested in the outcome. Moving through unreasonably tight and cluttered spaces normally. My friends and I used to hang out at an extremely cluttered warehouse that belonged to a hoarder friend. It was full to the point where moving at all without getting stuck on something or causing a garbage avalanche was difficult. And there I was just gliding through hills of hoarded garbage like some kind of ghost. They told me it was creepy. Remembering oddly specific details about someone's past. I tend to remember odd speak people say for years. It tends to freak people out. The worst reactions are when someone was just making up something for a story and have no memory of saying it in the first place. I have a friend who just knows random stuff. Like he is damn near lawyer level of proficient with things like legal procedure. Technical knowledge to include how to bypass code locks. Is really smart on finance and how to take advantage of situations. All sorts of stuff. He's not a spy or criminal. He just loves to Google this stuff and will read for hours on end about it. But to those who don't know him, he's suspect. Ms. Excel. I found that by taking over reporting from others because it took them so much time. I'd automate it to pull from the database where the previous owner was spending 2 hours a day copy/paste hundreds of cells. A couple hours work once and I hit a button. Done. I'd use to release right away. Even with a script to open, refresh, save, and email it. This caused people to not trust the numbers, so now I still pull in the data but hold off on releasing it for a bit. Even a bit late on occasion. Undefined. Learning a simple programming language helps. I learned BASIC as a kid and Pascal and Fortran later. VB is the most useful at this point though. In Excel you can add a developer tab, Google it. It will show you how to add it to your Excel. You can record macros that record your steps when you do things like insert a column, copy a row, etc. You can then see how it works. Mr. Excel, not to be confused with MS Excel, LOL, is a great resource. Also, learn VLOOKUPs as they are very helpful and you can get how other formulas work. Finally, Google knows all. If you have Outlook, there's a function to delay sending an email until a specified time. You can program it to send your email out anywhere from a minute to a year after you hit send. Remembering things about them they forgot. I told my friend I was getting a job at a store we know. She told me, "I think I've been there before." Then I told she has and I repeated the conversation we had. Word for word. I got some weird looks from her, LOL. Telling almost instantly by feel if a bill is real or counterfeit. Though I think more people should definitely be able to do it. Lower denomination US counterfeit bills can look amazing. But the feel is always off. Recognizing sounds. I've knowledge of everything happening around me through sounds. Being able to quickly convert between ounce and gram. Extended version, always referring to kilograms as keys. People that are able to drastically change their personality. or the way they talk and act when around different groups of people or someone else arrives. Shuffling cards. Yep. One time you show how you can deal from the bottom and suddenly you're out of the weekly poker game. Googling. Oddly, people find it unsettling how quickly I can learn speak that untrained people aren't supposed to know. All I did was Google search till I found the info and then gave it a try. I'm not especially good at Googling, but it's baffling to see how bad at Googling some other people are. It's very helpful to be able to learn stuff quickly. I've forgotten my apartment key to the point that I can pick my own lock. People find that suspicious. So you would remember to take your lockpick kit with you, but not your keys. A lockpick kit works on a lot of doors, but their key will only open the one. Yeah, I think Aristotle said that. Hiding things. I do this. Only not deliberately. I can put something down then want it a minute later and not be able to find it. It's like a speepty superpower. Lying. And not like the everyday white lies like "how are you? I'm okay." No. I mean the Kaiser Soze kind of lying. This is literally how the series Psych starts. The main character, Sean Spencer, is too good at being observant. And because he kept sending tips to the local police, they called him in for questioning because they thought he might be involved in all those crimes. So he has to pretend to be a psychic. Lockpicking. My friend got locked out, so I grabbed the bobby pins out my hair and started picking. He thought I was a criminal. It was a master lock. If lockpicking lawyer had anything to say about it, master lock is literally the worst locks on the planet. Being happy. Everyone always thinks I'm high. I mean, I am high, but I'm happy for other reasons too. r/username xxout. Navigating government bureaucracy. Looking left then right then left then right without turning your head. Finding a lot of information about someone online given a small amount of information about said person to go off of. Tying knots. Being a good listener. People assume you're a stalker. Breaking into someone's car. A few years ago I was at a new job and a co-worker locked her keys in her car. I got the door open in under a minute. The security guard watched me and had some concerns with the speed at which I opened that car without damaging it. Truth of the matter is that the guard wasn't paying attention completely to what I was doing. My first car was a 2-door sports car, and I learned about a design flaw with those cars when my dumb ass locked my keys in the ignition. She had a similar car and her keys in the ignition. So I took advantage of that design flaw to get her door open without damage to the car. Knife sharpening. Anything with a computer. If you're good enough with literally anything to do with computers, people will think you're able to hack computers. They'll also think you're able to fix any problem with their computers, which is equally detrimental on its own.